This comes as it folds into just one boys hockey team, forcing another historic team to shut down for good.
There is something special about East Side hockey. I've known it for years.
Tremendous histories in Minnesota high school hockey, starting with St. Paul Johnson.
The Governors of St. Paul Johnson.
St. Paul Johnson.
St. Paul Johnson Governors.
Oh, no! Johnson is back in the game!
It tells you on the back that you're a governor.
The one word that comes to mind being a governor is tradition.
St. Paul Johnson defends Phelan Park.
Every kid wanted to be a governor and wear that blue and gold.
St. Paul Johnson captured the first of their 4 state championships as early as 1947.
Let's go, boys!
Nothing is promised, so each today, let's make sure we make that the best today that it can be. No one's promised tomorrow.
1913, 30 years prior to becoming a statewide powerhouse,
State champion, St. Paul
Johnson put together their first hockey team. No home rink, no budget, just a group of East Side rink rats who fell in love with the game. In a short time, hockey took hold of the small East Side neighborhood, and the credit for Johnson's historic rise had very humble beginnings.
If you look back, I think pond hockey became part of what everybody did in the winter and grew into Phelan Youth Club.
And that's where hockey started in St. Paul. You know, that was, you had to play at Phelan. And if you didn't play at Phelan, you had a tough time playing at Johnson High School.
The loyalty of the moms and dads on the east side, I've got to give them most or all of the credit for them starting the program.
Saturday, you go to Phelan Rink, there'd be 10 on a side. Young kids, older guys, we all played together.
But the whole thing was to coach younger kids on how to pass, how to stick handle, and how to skate.
The playground system was very, very unique and very important to the success in the Johnson High School.
It took 34 years from the first Johnson team to a moment that would change East Side hockey forever. In 1947, the Govies reached the Minnesota State Championship game, led by head coach Rube Gustafson.
Rube Gustafson never skated.
Come out with goulashes and a Mackinac coat and a hat and the rules.
He'd stand in the center of the rink with a whistle around his neck and with overshoes on.
A lot of people don't realize how good Rube was.
He was really demanding, and the guys respected him. They'd go through a lot for him. You can see over the years, I mean, the success of the team year after year after year was incredible. I think all based on the fact that they loved for that guy and how hard that they wanted to play for him.
You were part of a state championship team.
In the 47, yeah. It was the North against the South. It was Roseau against Johnson in the state championship game.
Late in the third period, Johnson was holding on to a 1-0 lead, minutes away from their first state championship.
53 seconds left. Everybody's standing now in the bottom section at least. Loose puck knocked around. Here's Avedon. Tremendous player. Look at him go. Go.
With under a minute left, Roseau tied the game, meaning the state title would be decided in overtime.
Trophy at center right. Across the goal line. In front. Oh! You got the win!
Johnson's first championship lit the fire, but their next 3 would build a dynasty.
Johnson beats Warren to take home another state title. And the Johnson Governors win. That's the end of the game. Johnson wins their 4th state championship.
But that wouldn't be the last time Johnson played for a state championship. In 1967, the Governors were back on the biggest stage in high school hockey, coached by East Side legend Louis Catronia, who had led the Governors to the state tournament 4 years in a row. Johnson entered the championship game undefeated, chasing the school's 5th state title.
Both trips away. Here's Mentor. Mentor at the blue line. Mentor has it checked away from him by Ludwig. It goes into the side. In the corner, dug out there by Ron Peltier. A pass intercepted, however. Goal range still in possession. Around behind the cage it comes.
In the first period, Johnson struck first.
They're back on again. We'll pick up these boys as it goes along. Zaradka with a puck. Zaradka stick handling in. A goal! in front. The assist there went to Ronnie Peltier.
But Greenway didn't back down, and Johnson's goalie, Terry Del Monte, was quickly put to the test.
What a save by Del Monte! 15 feet out of the cage. He's way out of there. It's a loose puck, and it's picked up by Goski. What a save by Del Monte. That looked like the equalizer. Sure fire, but Del Monte rose to the occasion. Here's Johnson with a 2-on-1 break. Doesn't materialize. Here's another bullet. A save by Del Monte, and he kicked it away from two men standing on each side of him. He's been fantastic in the nets. He kicked that one off right off his right knee. In front again. A wide-open shot. He kicks it out again. Let's look at this crowd in the background. Interception, clean break. Here goes Doug Peltier. Save by Joy.
Save after save kept the lead alive until finally Greenway broke through.
Oh, and he's hit off an open cage. Goal. Tied up. It's all tied up. 1-1. Unassisted goal by Gary Lawson.
It was war.
In front again, a backhander, a no goal. As Joy came up with a save, they were right in front there, this line. Ron and Doug Peltier and Sorotka really putting on the pressure at the moment. Pass, and going in. A save by Joy. He did the splits that time. And he stopped that with his skate, his blade. Puck on the left side. Intended for Gary Lawson, a little long. Metzer pass. Here's Metzer going in. Oh, what a save by Del Monte. What a save by Del Monte. Boy, that kept Johnson right in the game, I'll tell you.
But Greenway punched in two more, carrying a lead deep into the third.
It shoots. Del Monte with a save, and it drops to the side of the cage. In the opposite corner, out they come. Another shot. It's kicked out. Another goal. Steffens with it, circling around, stick handling in, loose puck, in front, goal!
But just when it looked out of reach, Johnson found the back of the net, making it a one-goal game.
Here's a 2-on-2 break. Let's see what they can do with it. Doug Peltier. Pass, back to Doug, a backhander, saved by Joy in front. Oh, a goal! Johnson is back in the game.
With just under a minute left, Johnson pulled their goalie, praying for a miracle.
And of course, Greenway will try to shoot. It's stopped by Sorotka. There's a shot. It's going to be off the mark. Going after it is Ludwig in the corner. Shoots it around the boards into the neutral zone. 21 seconds. 20 seconds. 17 seconds. There's an open net down the way. Antonovich after it. He shoots.
Probably one of the toughest losses in our history. Johnson came into the tournament undefeated against Greenway and ended up losing the game. Again, just getting to know those guys and just how proud they are to be Johnson guys and where they went on in their lives to become really successful people and everything else. I think a lot of that's based off of what the school brought to them, with being a Johnson guy, being a governor.
But 3 years later, Johnson was back in the tournament, this time playing Edina, the defending state champs. But the night before, goaltender Doug Long had already made history.
Doug Long has already made a record 61 saves in a quarterfinal win over Coleraine.
What we wanted to do is open up the area so I could see everything. So what our defense would do is we would allow the shots out.
I had a clear view of it. Like we had Les Auger back there, and he'd push them out of the way.
And I would be able to get a peek at it. And if I could get a peek at it, we thought we could stop a lot of them.
Late in the third of the state semifinals, Doug Long and the Governors were tied 1-1 with Edina.
Long knocks it away right in front. Long picks it up. Looks like a shortstop. Rolling on his side, and he just scooped it up with a glove. In front of the net. Wide open goal. No goal. Impossible save. Stop that one, I'll never know. Try to set up Krieger. The pass is to Krieger, and they break it up. Oh, and Holm is knocked down at center ice on a hard check. Strictly legal. Lead out pass a little bit too long for Blum. Nyarop back for it. 2:10 to go. Nyarop in his own zone, trying to get away from Blum. Nyarop passing on the far side. McClellan. His pass too long for Carlson. Driven back into the Edina end. Stopped by Nyarop. Nyarop back to Carlson. This is Bruce Carlson. Bruce Carlson down the middle. Backhander in front. Clear to the side. Krieger went right into the cage. Nyarop after it. Nyarop going in. Nyarop sticks in. He shoots. He misses. They come around the side of the net. Out to the point. Here's a shot by Curry. A save. Carlson with it. Centering pass. Belongs to Johnson, out to the point, stopped by Curry. They're attacking the goal right now. Here's Nairop with a drive. Couldn't get his stick down. Looks for room. Passes. It goes into the center ice area. Breaking, but it was broken up there. Was Holmes. Holmes shooting it in the far wing. Back comes Curry. Curry to the outside. His pass comes to Bonnie. Bonnie off a stick. Edina was offside and there were 28 seconds left to go. Edina did everything there. But back in the goal, we forgot. There's Doug Long is standing in there. Nairop passing on the wing. Goes into the corner. Tom Anderson after it. They try to get it out in front. Loose puck. Oh, and it's cleared to the side. But Peltier just in time. To Barrett. Barrett in his own zone. Winding up. He can go. Here comes Peltier. He drives the shot. Oh! And that one almost handcuffed there. Oh, and there's somebody knocked down as the buzzer sound. That's the end of regulation time.
For the second night in a row, Johnson was heading to overtime, so they caught their breath, preparing for what would become 3 full periods of sudden death.
You need ice and water or something? Get those ice cubes. Get the wet top.
Shift after shift, the Governors held the line.
Right there, doggy. Good shift, good shift.
Until the third overtime, when Edina found the winner. Johnson returned in 71, but after that, they wouldn't reach the state tournament for over a decade.
The final game of the day is a real St. Paul bash. If absence makes the heart grow fonder, Johnson will love this tournament, their first appearance in 13 years. If there's going to be a high-scoring game, our guess is this is it. Number 12, Dewey Wallen, is the driving force behind Johnson's bid to return to tournament greatness. He leads all scorers with 50 goals.
In the opening round of the 1984 state tournament, Johnson drew their longtime rival and the reigning champs, Hill Murray, setting the stage for a game that would go down in history.
That'll go down and rank among the best ever in state tournament history, Ralph.
From the opening shift, Johnson set the tone.
Berthium holding it in. Wrist shot is knocked down by Gallies. Covering up right out in front.
And he gets some help from his defenseman.
And it's set up to Bartison. To Bartison on the wing. Right out in front. Shot to goal by Jim Howe. His 35th goal of the year.
Johnson took the lead early in the first period and continued to apply the pressure.
Zoner was held in by Larson. Intercepted and held in by Harvey. Hit shot and Gallies with the save. Here with the lead. Coming in over the blue line and a shot there by Wallen and the save made of the rebound. Cross ice of a drive. Picked out by Galliot and St. Paul Johnson leading it 1-0. Coming in over the blue line. This is Leibel coming in. Shot knocked down. Point blank range. Olander and Gallies with a big save.
And a great play by Leibel to Olander.
But then late in the first period, Hill Murray had a chance to tie the game.
Nice with speed if they're going to get the good position in Johnson's zone to set up.
And we have 47 seconds remaining on the penalty time to Dewey Wallen. Norman will let it go. Picked out of the air by Tim DeRose.
But Tim DeRose came up huge. In the second, the momentum shifted. Hill Murray came out hot.
In behind the net was Hurt. Hurt and Wallach come up with it, and Wallach right out in front. Tried to get off the shot. Heavy traffic in front of the net. And the whistle and play is going to be stopped, and we've got a little push. It goes back over to Berthium. Don Berthium, the 27 points of the year, tried to set it up. A little carelessness in front of the net. And a backhander. It was just deflected wide. But held in at the point. There's a shot knocked down. And backhanded out of the zone as DeRose was equal to the tap. Another shot deflected by DeRose. As Thomas fired that one. And it comes around over to Norman. Oh, strike one as he didn't give off the shot. Correlative back into the goal.
And eventually they found the net to tie the game.
His first of the tournament and his 12th goal of the year. And diving out is DeRose. And he made the save.
But then a couple minutes later, Hill Murray took 2 back-to-back penalties.
In this period, Hill Murray's gone. Paul Johnson going to have a 2-man advantage. 3:26 to go in the period. The game tied at 1. Ran a little pick, but Wallen just lost control of that puck. They've got to gain the control of the zone rather than shoot it in.
Wallen and Howe move it up ice. Howe on the wing on the left side. Howe with it now, looking for Wallen. They got Leibel in the slot. And it's Howe, Dick Henley with the puck, back to the point, coming cross ice. It goes to Galen with a shot, kicked out by Galen. Shot for goal by Howe. It's Howe gets his second goal of the tournament, his 36th goal of the year. And it's now 2-1.
Well, Gaylor shoots.
Johnson grabbed a 2-1 lead, but it didn't last long.
And the face-off, Dewey Wallen with the draw, playing it off on the wing on the far side. And it's banked out to the neutral zone with 44 seconds remaining. And coming back in over the line, that is Shermack with it, take it away. Here's Hill Murray down by a goal, coming in over the blue line. Hurt with a shot. Oh, it hit the pipe shot and a goal in the corner. As Hurt took the initial shot in the rebound.
Tied at 2, it all came down to the final period.
Back in over the blue line, left side, Leibel moving it in, and it's put checked away. Hurt coming in over the blue line, sliding across ice, and a shot is fired wide. The pass is set up, here's a potential break. Sherlock, get over the blue line, knocked down by Gallish, the goaltender in the ice. Here's a 2-on-1. It is Rollick in over the line, and Rollick and Norman, the shot of the save, and it's gathered in by Jerome. Line to Rollick, back to Shirley, and it's cleared. And St. Paul Johnson back 2-on-2. Dewey Wallen in over the blue line, trying to go right side. Wallen with a shot. Leibel in the slot. It is cleared on the far side to Griffith, to the point where it's held in. And there's Olander. The shot and goal by Greg Olander, getting the goal, his 16th of the year. And it is 3-2, St. Paul Johnson.
With 2 minutes to go, Johnson took the lead, but Hill Murray wasn't done yet.
And he plays it in, 1 minute remaining in regulation time. It goes back over to Bardison on the far wing on the breakout. It's held up at center ice as now the Pioneers needing a goal in 49 seconds to tie this game. Here is Harvey in over the line, and Harvey had it cleared off in the corner by Griffith, picked up by Corella. Here's Corella now with help from Stolage. And Stolage with it out towards center ice. Will the net be empty? Here's Norman in over the line as Gallish goes off. And it's set up. Oh! Right on the doorstep, right there was Corella, and the save by DeRose.
What a save that was. Corella having a perfect beat. Norman drawing that puck.
And we have 20 seconds remaining, and a shot fired wide. That is Norman behind the net. Around to the far side, Leibel in the corner. It's Hurt, back to the point. Going cross ice. That is Roth with a shot. And it was banged out in the air. As diving back was DeRose. And it's cleared. We have 2 seconds. There it is. St. Paul Johnson, the Governors, have defeated the defending state champions, the Pioneers of Hill Murray, 3-2.
Johnson would go on to finish 4th in the state, which was not the ending they hoped for, but a run that proved that the Governors still belonged among the best in Minnesota.
We talk about neighborhood rivalries, and I'm not saying hatred, but I'll tell you neighborhood rivalries, there wasn't a better one anywhere. Just an epic game, excitement, goaltending, you name it, and then for us to be able to come out on top of that and win that. You walk out of the Civic Center that night, how proud you were to have something maroon on it because the town was lit up.
Nolan with a nifty move gets it around one man. And Dopp checks Giesbauer, but here come the Governors 2-on-1. Best for Peterson, he scores!
So as we moved through the 90s, our team that went to the tournament in 91, in 89, they won the state band championship.
Once again, Steve Hansen cutting right in, he shoots, he scores! Hansen got it through the pads of Powell, and Powell's going to argue about it, but the Governors have taken it 2-0.
Historically, we made one appearance in '84, and then we went in '91, and Moose and I went together in '95.
Kept it at the point by Pogriba for Giesbauer in the corner. Giesbauer centers, they score! And the Governors have tied it up at 4. Randy Bass the other way. Giesbauer has Pogriba with him. He gets it to Pogriba. He scores!
You know, when I really finally had to take the sweater off for the last time, it was painful. And you know, unfortunately, my senior year, we lost into a double overtime game against Hill Murray, which was a back and forth deal, and that was a rough one to try to take that sweater off. And to be honest with you, I think it takes a little bit out of it.
So in '95, we played South St. Paul at Mariucci, and we won in overtime with Sean Pogrub on the scoring machine. Scored in overtime. We went to the tournament, and we played Moorhead. We have the lead, and our goalie gets hurt, and then we end up losing. I was wanting to make that walk out, that tunnel, and walk around the boards, and looked around. I couldn't imagine that I was there, that we were there, and you know, obviously we represented well. But
and that's the last time that the St. Paul City Conference has had a team in the state high school hockey tournament.
Although they didn't return to the state tournament, Johnson had some real chances throughout the 2000s.
Yeah, well, I think 2000 for sure was the guys who are here from the 2000 team probably won't want to remember this, but we were playing Hastings at the Coliseum, and we were winning 1-0 with 13 seconds left, and they got a break on the face-off and seeing our goal, and then they beat us in overtime. And then 2004, we were the #1 seed in the section. We had played Tartan 10 days earlier, beat them 7-2 or something. So we played them in the final. We played 5 bad minutes after the first of the year, and it happened to be in the start of the second period. We got down a couple goals, we just couldn't overcome it. But when you get that far, as hard as we had to work to get that far, it's really hurtful when we couldn't finish the job on those.
And in 2007, Johnson made history again, starting the Minnesota tradition of Hockey Day.
We're up in Baudette, and we would play every other year, and we were out after the game with the coaches, sitting in the VFW club, and the Bay was out there, and their coach goes, "We should play a game out there next year." And then all of a sudden it caught on, and the Wild heard about it, and then the Wild decided, okay, we'll do Hockey Day in Minnesota. So next thing you know, we pack up the whole east side and we head for Baudette.
St. Paul Johnson, the Governors, have made the trip up from the capital city to take on the home team, the Lake of the Woods Bears, in what should be a classic afternoon of high school hockey.
The first ever Hockey Day was a back-and-forth battle.
The far side, Burkhardt after it there, fed up the point, long shot,
Great save.
Great save by Lighting as he stretched the pad to make the save. Rebounding behind, backhander, they score! Sam Soika, we mentioned him in the open. He comes out of the corner, puts the backhander home, and St. Paul Johnson takes the early 1-0 lead. Moving in, tripped up was Clark. Johnny coming up, shot to goal! And the Lake of the Woods has answered. Anderson, long shot, save is made. Kuzik battling at the rebound, and he jams it home. Danny Uziski puts it home, and Lake of the Woods has a 2-1 lead. In behind, trying to get it free. Wraparound attempt, and they score. Joe Burkhardt stole the puck in behind, and he jams it in the short side on Lighting, and we're all even at 2. He's stripped of the puck. Now he pushes it in behind. Stay with it there. He's knocked down. Puss comes back to the point. Long shot right on. Rebound to bang away. And they score! And once again, the Bears own the front of the net. Spinning around on the wall. In behind. Now to the near corner. Soika comes out front. Soika walking right in and scores! What a goal by Sam Soika as he picked up the puck in the corner, just worked his way through the Bears defense and puts it home to tie this game at 3.
Unfortunately, Johnson came up short. But in 2009, they returned to Hockey Day, this time on home ice at Phelan Park, where the program had started nearly 100 years early. They weren't just there for the win. They came to make the East Side proud and to show the world that Johnson hockey was still alive and well.
Play comes into the St. Paul Johnson zone. Tanner Hendrickson is back to pick it up for the Governors. Breakout pass. They score! Bowman from the point. It appeared to be deflected out front, and St. Paul Johnson is on the board first. Just an old Schmidt from the half board sends it in deep. Ellis on the attack. King is down. They score! Zach Lopez and Corey Ellis banging away, pushing and shoving after the horn, but Johnson's on top 2-0 as King was not able to freeze the puck in the Rocket crease. Polanski's shot was broken up, and they're 2-on-1 the other way. Scores! Second of the day for Corey Ellis, and the Governors lead 3-0. Those games are such huge swings in a tight playoff race. Here the Governors score on the rebound. King made the first save, and on the rebound, he had no chance. St. Paul Johnson defends Phelan Park.
Johnson got the win at home and made one last Hockey Day appearance in 2015.
Into the corner, now out to the point. And a shot, tip, score! Carl Fish let it go for the blue line. It deflected off the post and in. And with exactly a minute to play, St. Paul Johnson reclaims the lead.
Then came a game in the mid-2010s that would shock the hockey world.
Almost like you black out, like try to remember what happened. It's almost like a blackout.
It was round 1 of the section playoffs, and Johnson was down 5-1 to White Bear with just 5 minutes left to go in the third. The comeback started when Brian Stanley buried his own rebound, making the score 5-2.
Finally, one goes in the net, and then it's all of a sudden go, hey, maybe we can. See the guys' faces changing from like blank stares and then pretty soon a little sparkle, and then you see, like, you can see the fire burning. I know then Jake picked one up behind the net, and he's a D-man, and he went in end to end and scored. Then the G. Dickwin show started. He hammered in a maybe three. I think Brian Stanley got one in there too, but
And with a minute left to go, the Governors had tied it.
So we'll get into overtime, and there was no doubt what was going to happen. We just had to get the puck to Dickman, and got the puck come off the wall, I believe, and it's history. We were always playing better than 500. We won lots of games. We took on lots of giants and took them down.
45 seconds. Oh, stolen. Here's a chance for the hat trick. A goal. Throwing your hands. Throwing your hands. Moberg with the hat trick.
In 2019, Dream State shot a documentary on Johnson's season. And even after 100 years, not much has changed.
It's been a long time coming for me. I mean, I can go back to Mites. Having Moose tell me he can't wait for me to be Johnson Governor.
I'm so grateful that every day I can get up and play hockey with my best friends. Don't think I'd be the same guy I am today without you guys.
You guys made me feel like a family with you guys, and I just want to say thank you for that.
Taking us this far, we're not done yet.
Thank you to everybody. You boys, I've known you most of my whole life. It's been crazy, fun ride, but it's not over yet. Let's keep it going.
It's tough to see you guys go. But we're going to end it with the bag. Let me get hurt, folks.
I grew up with almost all of you guys. And it's just like we're all family, we're all brothers. We have bonds that can never be broken.
Keep something in mind when we're riding this circus train, okay? Nothing is promised, okay? So each today, let's make sure we make that the best today that it can be. Because no one's promised tomorrow.
You know, since Christmas time, probably I knew that we probably weren't going to be back next year, just judging by numbers and everything else. And so in February this year, we're playing St. Paul Academy in the section, and we were having our senior night. It was tough. It was tough. You know, I mean, we were working our way through it, but I'd been in the rink every winter since 1977 coaching. So here I'm going, thinking to myself, we're walking out there for that day and play this game, and probably that's why this will be our last game here. Boy, the emotions are bubbling pretty good. Like always, seniors are great. They're heartfelt. They show with their emotions on their face how they feel about being part of our program. And we get going into the game, and it's a good game. It's a tight game. Goes into overtime. Ralph blocks a shot. And he scores in overtime. But then I just kind of stood there and looked around, and it's almost like a movie. You know, you kind of looking around, you're seeing people, and believe it or not, you see how you have all these memories that pop out, and it was like this could never be over, and it's over. So that was like incredible day.
To some, it's just another program ending. But to this community, it's the end of something much deeper.
You know, that pride and that tradition and doing things the right way. And
the one word that comes to mind being a governor is tradition.
I'm very proud to say that I'm a Johnson governor.
And that's, I think, the biggest thing with us is the East Side and Johnson hockey. Never give up, always work hard. And you do whatever you can for yourself and the people next to you.
It's something you want to be part of. It meant so much to everyone. So I think that was as far as the roots in the East Side is, I just think we're all blessed to have had a chance to live here and be here and live it and be part of it.
Because Johnson wasn't built on championships alone. It was built on tradition, on freezing morning practices, on neighborhood rinks, and Friday night at Phelan. And though the final buzzer has sounded, the echoes of this team, this legacy, will never fade.
Off the draw, they score! Bowman from the point! It appeared to be deflected out front, and St. Paul Johnson.
Generations came through that locker room, and every single one of them left it better than they found it. This wasn't just a team. It was a tradition. It was a family. It was the pride of the East Side.